We had a show last Monday where Mark was talking about historically how the rigging of the system works. They have dead voter rolls and how they keep them, and then they know what they need to beat as the numbers come in. And I think we've seen it play out actually since Tuesday.
Right. Well, even if they don't know the numbers that they need to beat, they have the numbers on hand, David, to beat whatever comes in. The key to the game is for the opposition to be done. They can top the opposition. The real key is to extend the voting counting deadline legislatively, which they've done in Democratic strongholds like California and apparently Arizona. That goes 13 days. California, 30 days to count, which is why those House seats are in jeopardy. In Arizona, 13 days to count. It was the same thing with the Kari Lake case. They're going to continue to top her no matter how many votes appear for Kari Lake. They will simply find additional Gallego votes.
What's at stake in California in terms of House and other seats that people might not be paying attention to?
3 Orange County seats that Republicans went in winning that are now in jeopardy to be flipped in Orange County, which is a conservative stronghold. I'm not sure up to the minute what's going on right now, but they're using the same legal techniques in California to have extended counting days and weeks in California. Actually, it's 3 to 4 weeks of counting. So that can go on. And they're attempting to do the same thing in Pennsylvania. Even though their deadline was Wednesday night at midnight, they're attempting now with Chuck Schumer refusing to allow Senator-elect McCormick, as called by the Associated Press, to attend a senatorial orientation meeting of senator-elects. He's blocking this, Schumer, and I believe, this is just my opinion, I think McCormick should simply show up and force his way into the orientation meeting by physically forcing his way into. I've said this on my channel for a long time. Physically, things have to be done to push these different things to the max. This letter writing by Republicans is so weak, such a weak sauce. People are so tired of it. There's got to be some physics involved here. I'll just add one more. The governor of Massachusetts said that she will physically prevent Trump from deporting illegal aliens. Good. Arrest her for obstruction of justice. But you got to do something. You can't just continue to debate them in the court of public opinion while they're using a different playbook than you're using.
No, but it's actually wild where they said we're gonna defy federal authorities exercising or imposing the law, where you just had the federal authorities basically saying the states can't enforce immigration law. So, I mean, you have the reverse precedent to some extent where they say states can't enforce federal immigration laws. Presumably, they can't defy federal immigration laws. So,
these are like crazy drunk teenagers. They'll say the opposite 5 minutes later. The point of the matter is you got to get the job done. You can't have debates with them on CNN, which, by the way, I don't know if this sounds familiar, but guests on CNN are now calling for Kamala Harris to be installed by Joe Biden and having him step down so she could be a ceremonial president for 3 months.
That sounds fantastic for me. I got 10-1 odds on both of those things. Who's pressuring Biden to resign? And
CNN and also editorials. This is as I predicted. I didn't predict it would happen, but I predict that this would happen, that they would call for him to step down to allow her to be an honorary president for 3 months. So yes, took a couple of days. Also, massive protests now being formed for the inauguration. They're organizing across the country for a massive physical demonstration on January 20th in D.C., as I figured would happen. There were already demonstrations in New York of illegal aliens being shepherded around by NGOs in a physical protest in the streets of New York, claiming that they have every right to be here and to live off of your money.
I'm going to make a prediction. I don't think there's going to be as much violence, or at least that the mobs are going to be as big as people are fearing. I think people are kind of done, and you got a very vocal minority that's threatening it, but they're going to show up and nobody's going to be there. But hold on, let me bring this up, Mark. I didn't realize you sent this to me via DM.
Figure he could resign the presidency in the next 30 days. Make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would
Do it. Wow. Do it.
Being able to having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat, and it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment.
What an idiot.
Change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay,
well, he just said like 3 things that are mutually incompatible. They need drama and transparency. First of all, the Dems don't need to learn drama. They're the drama queens.
They're drama queens. That's for sure.
And transparency. First of all, do it. Do it, and oh my gosh, I will be laughing.
I had predicted that Biden would step down, but I wrongly predicted that he would pick the governor of California, whom he had stated publicly was his heir apparent. He had gone to California on numerous trips, raised the hand of the governor of California and said, "This is my successor." Apparently, the demand for Kamala Harris is different takes on it, because Paul Manafort suggested on the interview with Tucker, which I highly recommend, that Joe Biden stabbed them in the back, them being the Clintons and Obamas, by endorsing her within 48 hours, thereby cementing her candidacy and screwing over a phony, quote unquote, open primary for the Democrats that would have allowed Obama and the Clintons to be kingmakers. He made her a queen, but the original choice, I believe, was the governor of California, who is already now running because he's termed out. I predicted to you the other day that she will run for the governor of California, just like Richard Nixon did in 1962 after losing the presidency in 1960 to JFK. She's been the senator of California. She's been the attorney general. She has nowhere to go politically except back to her home state. She could walk in and take the crown if she wants, and I think she will.
Kamala Harris would go back and run for governor. Gavin Newsom, it looks like he's running for 2028.
Yeah, he's turned out. There's no real major figures. I had originally urged RFK Jr. to throw his hat into the ring and use California as a testing ground for all of his various policies. 40 million people could then be used as guinea pigs, good or bad guinea pigs, for RFK's policies. I don't know what position RFK is going to take, a cabinet position. I don't really know. I don't think he wants to come to D.C. and leave his house in Malibu. I originally thought and urged him to, and I talked to Dr. Drew about this, who spoke to him, according to Dr. Drew. Then Nicole Shanahan picked up the mantle from him and said she was going to run. But I think it's Kamala Harris's race to lose in California. She could stay politically active.
The only thing I disagree with your theory is that Biden was trying to do anything to benefit Kamala by endorsing her. I think, from what I understand, they hate each other.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that either. In fact, Manafort was saying it was knowing that she was going to lose and to screw over the people that stabbed him in the back. Oh, no. Manafort said the same thing. This was designed to cement her as the weakest candidate that any of them, which is why he picked her as VP. You always want like a weak, dunce candidate to be your VP. Look at Joe Biden. I mean, he was an idiot selected Barack Obama.
Yeah, and the graph is hilarious. There was a meme where it says Obama's thinking, I need a dumber VP than me. And then you got Biden. Then Biden says, I need a dumber VP than me. And then you got Kamala. And Kamala says, I need a dumber VP than me. And then you got Tim Walz, who we haven't heard. Oh, he gave a speech, actually.